Hello everyone and welcome back to the Prairie Knitter. My name is Celeste, I'm from Central Alberta and I'm here today with a video about 10 things I am terrified to knit, and I'll tell you why, for a variety of reasons. Some of them are simple, some of them are big, some of them are silly, but these are 10 patterns that I'm terrified of for a variety of reasons, and some of them I might be willing to tackle in the near future. Others, maybe I'll need some encouragement, so feel free to pop that in the comments if you're like, no, this is not as hard as you think it is, because I know I overthink things, so that's probably part of it. But yeah, these are 10 patterns I'm scared of. Let's jump right into it. Let's just, without further ado, the first pattern, I do have my laptop right here, so if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. I want to give you as much information as I can about these patterns, and a little bit of insight into why I've not knit them and why I'm scared to knit them or purchase yarn for them. Yeah, so the first pattern that I'm scared of is the Darling Vest by Cosil Knits. I don't know if I said that right, but that's okay. We tried. It was published in July 2024. It has 7 projects on Ravelry, and it's in 54 people's queues. So it looks like a couple of people at least want to knit this, and not very many people have. It's in English and Korean, and honestly, it looks reasonably simple. It is bottom up, which I don't love, and it has embroidery, which I've never done. Embroidery scares me. Pretty much anything new does, but embroidery specifically is kind of terrifying to me right now, just because it's not something I've been comfortable tackling yet. I'm really interested in it, but I haven't, actually gone and done it. I was actually eyeing some kits from Michaels that were like embroidery, and I couldn't settle for sure on which one I'd wanted to take home, so I just haven't jumped the gun, or I haven't bit the bullet yet to do that. But this pattern looks so cute. I love the vintage feel that I think it has. I love the delicate nature, the simplicity. I just think it looks adorable and I want it. I'm just scared to do embroidery. This pattern comes in 5 sizes. It's not the most size inclusive. I definitely would prefer a bigger size range, but it's not the worst one I've seen. It's knit up in a sport weight yarn with a gauge of 20 stitches by 30 rows over 4 inches, and then 23 stitches in 30 rows in the textured pattern. So 2 different gauges there. Ideally, you would want to swatch twice. I can imagine if I did this, I'd probably swatch for the textured pattern and hope that my stockinette met gauge. But yeah, it's got tulips embroidered on the set in diamonds, which I think is absolutely beautiful. Like I said, very delicate, very elegant, very vintage, very fun. Little bit grandma core, which I'm okay with. Honestly, I haven't nailed down my personal style, but I'm okay with grandma core if that's a little bit of it. So that's the first pattern that I'm terrified of, and I think a lot of people who do embroidery say, oh, it's so easy, it's so beginner friendly. I'm not sure if that's true or if the people I've just spoken to are just really competent with their craft, but yeah, if you've done embroidery, especially embroidery on knitting, and you think I should tackle this, let me know, because I feel like I just need a little push, just a little push on embroidery, and then I think I'll be willing to jump into it full steam ahead, that kind of thing. And this is a vest, and I don't know, I feel like there's something about a vest where you're like, there's no sleeves, so once I do the body, I'm pretty much done, and I kind of like that. That's fun. So yeah, that's pattern number 1, the Darling Vest. The second pattern that I actually have yarn for, and I really do need to get to this. I don't want to go into why quite yet. I will later. But this is the Pierre top by Joanna Tank. This is beautiful. Like, this is just stunning. I was sent this pattern right when it came out by my sister-in-law. She's like, have you seen this? This is gorgeous. And I totally agreed. It was stunning. And this is knit in a light fingering weight, 22 stitches and 30 rows in the lace pattern. It's got sizes extra small to 5XL, so a good size range. The only reason this scares me is not because it's all over lace. I actually really enjoy all over lace. It's the lace pattern itself. I bought this pattern because, like I said, I have the yarn and I do have plans to knit this. And I looked at the pattern for the swatch and I just put it away. I was like, I can't do that. It's too much. It's too much. And I haven't looked at it again since, which is so sad because it's such a beautiful pattern. And I do need to knit this. Like, I have a deadline that I'm risking not meeting if I don't start this soon, and I'm terrified of this lace pattern. It's beautiful, it's stunning, and I'm scared I'll mess it up like everywhere. Yeah, it's a gorgeous pattern. I have cotton merino by Knitting for Olive set aside for this, and I think it'll look gorgeous. I think it'll look so fun, so summery. It'll be wonderful for next summer and next spring. I'm scared of the lace pattern. I believe this is knit top down in one piece. So first the back panel is worked to shape your armholes, and then the front is worked separately with the round neck and increases and whatnot. And then it's joined and worked down to the armhole increases and then joined in the round, and you just keep going. I imagine by the time I've worked the back panel, this, in fact, even maybe when I've done this swatch, this pattern won't be near as intimidating as it currently is. But right now, having not knit either, I'm terrified. So realistically, for this, I need to bite the bullet, do the swatch. It'll probably be better than I think it is, but it is like listed as a difficult or like an advanced pattern. So as much as the construction isn't incredibly challenging, the lace pattern is very detailed and will require a lot of concentration. And like I said, I'm so scared I'll mess it up, not notice, find a mistake like 5 rows back. And I just feel like this could be a very frustrating project, and I don't want that. I love knitting to be fun. And it's kind of a balance, being wanting to learn new things, wanting to be challenged, but also wanting to relax and trying to like move those two in such a way that they work really harmoniously and that knitting stays fun even when I'm creating content and gift knitting and learning new tasks. Like, is it still an enjoyable hobby? And I'm always scared of things that might compromise the enjoyment, because one of the reasons I love knitting so much is because it's a stress reliever. And sometimes if I bite off too much or if I run into too many hiccups, it might not be very fun anymore. And I love knitting, so I want to preserve that fun and that enjoyment. And so that's one of the reasons this pattern is just scary. Scary pattern. But one of these days I'm going to get to it, and it should be sooner rather than later. I'm hoping to be able to show this to the podcast probably in January. So we'll see how I do if I meet my deadline. Yeah, that's my second pattern, which is the Pierre top. So the third pattern that I'm scared of is the Vivian Cardigan. This is beautiful. This is absolutely stunning. As soon as I saw Leia, or Kiss Kiss Rhinestones, release this pattern, I was like, I'm obsessed. I love that. That is absolutely something I would wear and wear a lot of. I do have a similar piece in blue that I got from a store, like a store-bought piece, but I would love to make my own. And honestly, in this yellow of the sample, like, I cannot, it is gorgeous. So it's knit up with a DK, a lace weight, and a light fingering for a worsted weight yarn. So she uses Filcolana Arwetta, Peruvian, and Alva for her sample. Wow. I think that would be a big yarn commitment. I'm not entirely sure what I would use for yarn. That's a big yarn commitment for like basically 3 sweaters quantity of a DK weight, a lace weight, and a light fingering. That would probably be a reasonably pricey knit. And the reason I'm scared of this is the all over rib. I think this would work out fine if I think about it logically, but there's another part of my brain that I knit, and I covered this in my video, Knitting Fails. I knit the square neck camisole by, oh gosh, I'm forgetting her name, but I'll put a little bit of the Ravelry page, and you can kind of see the pattern I'm talking about. And my ribbed garment, it's all over rib, turned out so stretched, and it doesn't fit. It's so boxy, and it grew far too much with width, so I lost a ton of length. It just ruined it when I blocked it. And so I'm so scared to do another all over ribbed garment if that could happen again, because that was a lot of knitting on like 3mm needles. So this is at least knit on a 5mm needle. It wouldn't be near as small a gauge. It's 17 stitches over 26 rows, which is not near as tiny as the gauge I had for the square neck camisole, but it's still intimidating when you had such a big flop from all over rib to then try another all over rib and just hope it works. It just scares me. It's terrifying. So this has 9 sizes, and like I said, knit up on a 5mm needle. Bust circumference sizes from 70 centimeters to 160, so an amazing size range. And she does say that the last 4 sizes haven't been tested, but if you want to test it, she'll send you the pattern, which I really appreciate, because not everyone can find testers for all the sizes they want to do, and I totally understand that. I really respect her being flexible and letting people know like there's an option there, and that it's not a complicated one. But yeah, I'm mostly nervous because it's all over rib, and I love the fitted look of her sample. I think that's stunning. And if I were to knit this, that's the kind of fit I would want. I'd want a pretty snug around the bust. Like, I'd really want it to be nice and fitted. Oh, I used that word so many times in that sentence, but that's what I would want. If I knit this, I want a fitted garment. And if the issue that I had with the square neck camisole happens again, where it stretches out to an unbelievable degree, and I'm left with this really loose zippered cardigan, that's just not what I'm looking for. And if I'm going to invest the time into that, I want it to be exactly what I'm looking for. And I touched on another issue that I am scared of is the zipper. I've never done a zipper. I've never sewed a zipper. I've never knit in a zipper or like sewed in a zipper to a knit garment. Like, I've never done that before, and it scares me. I feel like it's probably not as hard as I'm making it out to be, but I've also seen people, like I watched a project vlog by Knitting with Ev, and she did a project vlog of the Dagmar, and I feel like I remember her having so many difficulties with the zipper, and so I'm like, I don't know, do I want to tackle a zipper? Am I ready for that? Can I handle that? Will it look wonky and I'll ruin a knit garment? Now, you can rip anything out realistically. I'm just nervous. It's gonna be a recurring theme in a video of things I'm scared of, is I'm gonna keep saying, I'm scared of that. I'm just scared of that. There might not even be a good reason, I'm just scared of that. And that's okay. It's okay to be scared of things. But yeah, this is a top-down, all-over rib cardigan. And I don't know when I'll knit this. I don't know if this will be soon or long time from now. The next pattern that I absolutely adore, but I am scared of, is the there we go. I had it so that I couldn't see the top, and I was like, what's it called? This is the Marigold Tee by Winter's Weather Knits, and this is stunning. It's so unique. It's so fun. I love the sample colors. That seems to be a theme with a lot of these. I love the sample colors, and I would knit them in the sample colors. Like, no issue with the sample for this one. It's knit up in a fingering weight yarn with a gauge of 22 stitches and 32 rows in stockinette. It has a size range of extra small to 5XL, so again, a beautiful size range, and it's knit up on 3.25 and 3.75 needles. This is beautiful, absolutely stunning. It doesn't look incredibly complex, aside from the fact that it is knit sideways. and I've never knit that construction. I've never knit a pattern sideways. I actually think this would be incredibly engaging in regards to the fact that it is, it's lace and stockinette alternating, so I feel like you very much feel that like potato chippy, just want to get to the next section, I just want to get to the lace, I just want to get to the stockinette, let me just finish the stockinette, I'm almost there, like that kind of thing. I think that the striping color work like that would be really engaging. I enjoy lace knitting, like I said. Aside from the Pierre top, I'm usually quite eager to do some lace knitting. I find it very, very enjoyable. But the sideways construction is so intimidating to me. So, oh, and I think it includes, I feel like it includes some sort of mattress stitch, but I might be thinking of a different, oh, it's Kitchener stitch, and I'm working on my Kitchener stitch. It's not great. I'm working on it, and I'd be scared to do such a big section of Kitchener stitch. I imagine you Kitchener stitch together under the arms. That's nerve-wracking. That's just not something I'm sure I'm ready for yet. But I do really love this, and I do really want to knit this. Doesn't look like it's incredibly intensive in regards to yardage, so I'm like, maybe next summer I'll feel comfortable. So we'll see. If this makes it into my summer knitting plans in the summer, you'll know that I feel ready for the sideways construction challenge that this tee presents. But it's beautiful. It is absolutely stunning. Yeah, oh no, it does. I'm looking through and it says this pattern requires knowledge of Kitchener stitch and mattress stitch, which I've also never done. So 2 new things. It's just, well, 3 new things if you include the construction. It's just enough that I haven't even considered buying yarn for it just because I'm too scared. So the 5th pattern that I'm scared of is the Agnete Cardigan by Petite Knit. This is beautiful. This is absolutely stunning. My sister-in-law made one. She did it in like a neutral gray, which is stunning. I'm scared of brioche. I've never done brioche before, and I've heard that it's not incredibly difficult to knit. It's just if you make a mistake. And I feel like I just really got settled in how to, like, you know, fix mistakes in cables, fix mistakes in stockinette. That one I learned a while ago. Fix mistakes in lace knitting, but that's still tricky for me. So I'm like, oh, do I want to tackle something like brioche where it's hard to fix your mistakes and might just involve a lot of me frogging back a couple of rows, which I hate. Like, I don't know if anyone likes frogging, but I really, really don't like it. I avoid it at all costs, sometimes to my detriment, where I'm like, oh, I made a mistake, but we'll just leave it in there because I don't want to frog that back. Not a great habit, wouldn't recommend it, but everyone's got their thing that they know they shouldn't do and they do anyways. Mine is not frogging when I should. But I'm terrified to try brioche. I really should just sit down with some scrap yarn and knit a swatch up and just see how it goes. I just haven't brought myself to do it. A lot of these too, I know a good way to start this. I know how I should jump into this. I just haven't worked up the courage to actually do it. This is one of those things. I should just knit a swatch and see how it looks. In fact, I might even have yarn that would work for this and would look adorable. I just have to actually do it. That's the scary part. Actually doing it, actually biting the bullet and saying, I'm gonna jump into this with both feet. So this is a stunning pattern. I think it'd be so cozy, so squishy, so good for a really cold Albertan winter. Maybe next year, maybe the winter of 2026, maybe the fall of 2026, somewhere around there, I will do this. But yeah, if you've knit brioche before, and like I said, if there's anything that I'm blowing out of proportion and I shouldn't be as scared as I am, please tell me in the comments. Give me a little push. Say you should do this. It's worth it. It's beautiful, and it's not as hard as you think it is. So I would love that. But this is knit with sizes extra small to 5XL. Again, great size range. It's knit with a fingering and a lace weight yarn for a DK weight gauge of 19 stitches by 56 rows, which I believe with brioche you're knitting like the same row twice almost. I'm not sure, I haven't done a lot of research, but I think it's something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. And she uses I think Sandnesgarn Purigant with a Tyne Silk Mohair by Sandnesgarn. I'm not sure. She has a couple of different yarn combinations listed in the suggested yarn section. But it's just mohair and a fingering weight, whatever you choose to do with that. So like if I were to knit this with yarn I have, I think I would use Sandnesgarn Sunday with their silk mohair. And I actually have that behind me in like a really nice light yellow color. I showed it in my fall and winter plans, and I was initially planning to do some sort of round neck cardigan. I'm not opposed to that. I'm still definitely looking for patterns that I think will suit that. But if this yarn is repurposed, I won't be incredibly heartbroken. I'll just eventually source more yarn for said round neck cardigan that I'm looking for. But yeah, this is the Agnete Cardigan by Petite Knit. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm so sorry. Yeah, this has, I haven't been good at mentioning how many projects something has. I did it for the first one and then never again. But this has 1,403 projects on Ravelry, and it's in 2,921 queues. So it's a very popular pattern, as are most of Petite Knits. This probably is one of her, I don't know, I'd like to say maybe this is one of her lesser popular patterns, but it's still gorgeous, and it came out in 2023. So that's pattern number 5. Pattern number 6 is the I probably should have practiced saying this before. Adventitious, I butchered that. That's okay. By Olga Putano Designs. I didn't actually realize that this is in a magazine. Oh, you can buy it on Ravelry. Okay, for a second I thought you couldn't buy it on Ravelry. I'm like, oh, that's odd. I guess I'll buy the book one day. But this is a t-shirt with a lace panel in the middle, and it's knit on 2.75 millimeter needles and 2.25 millimeter needles and 3.25 millimeter needles. The reason I'm terrified of this is just how small a gauge is. It's 30 stitches by 38 rows on 2.7 millimeter needles after blocking, and it's knit with a lace weight yarn, and I am scared to do it, even just a t-shirt in all over lace weight gauge. Like, that's terrifying. I feel like that's gonna take forever and a day. Like, I think the amount of stitches I would need to cast on for my size is probably somewhere in like the 400 or 500s. That's not a small number, and I'm pretty sure it's knit. Yeah, it's knit bottom up. So you're casting on a lot of stitches, and for someone who just constantly loses count, that's a nightmare as it is. But like hundreds of stitches at 2.75, I'm scared of that. And I think reasonably so. That's a big thing for a summer knit too. Like, I feel like I have less time to knit summer knits than I do winter knits and fall knits. So I'd kind of be on a time crunch based on the seasons. Like, I feel like I need to start this in January to have it ready for April. That's terrifying. Reasonably so, I think. So this has 1,796 projects on Ravelry, and nope, I'm reading the wrong thing. It has 225 projects on Ravelry. I'm just gonna learn to look at the right section next time. But this is absolutely stunning. It's got a size range of sizes 1 through 12, which I believe is from 37 inches finished to 79 inches. That's really great. Like, no complaints there. Stunning, stunning size range. And she's also got a couple of other dimensions mentioned in the finished measurements, which I always really appreciate. So great pattern. Again, this is something my sister-in-law knit. Inspiration to me. She knits some of the most beautiful pieces that I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I want to do that. I don't know if I'm confident enough to do that. This is another one of those pieces. Really, really small gauge. Overall, like, again, I love lace knitting. I don't think any of the techniques, aside from like any of the techniques, are necessarily going to be super difficult. I'm just scared because of how small the gauge is. So That's pattern number 6. I'm not going to try to say it again because I butchered it the first time. The next pattern actually did make it into my fall and winter plans. This is the Prima Pullover by Star-Crossed Knits, otherwise known as Tamara Jordan. And this is knit. The suggested yarn is Barocco Vintage, which I have in my stash. I have the same color that she used, I believe. And it's a worsted weight, 32 stitches per 4 inches in 2x2 rib. And I'm scared of this for 2 reasons. One of it is being the all over rib issue. We've mentioned it before when we talked about the Vivian cardigan, but this is also very, very well shaped. There's a lot of shaping that goes into the bust area, the waist area. It looks like there's waist decreases and bust darts, both of which I've never done, though waist increases really aren't a big deal. Waist decreases and increases. It's also a provisional cast on, which I've never done before. So there's a couple of reasons why this is so intimidating. And all over rib just takes a little bit to knit. It is knit on 4.5 and 4mm needles. It has a size range from 28 inches to 62 inches. I'm not sure if that's stretched or unstretched, but either way, it's a very good size range. And yeah, it's purely because there's a lot of shaping, which is why I love the pattern. So it's both my favorite and least favorite part of this. Like, I love the look of this. I love the effect. I think it's so stunning because of all the detailing. I'm just scared to actually attempt said detailing. It's worked top down in the round. You start with raglan increases and you work, you work top down, you start with the raglan and go from there. This has 68 projects on Ravelry, so slightly less than some of the other patterns we've talked about it, and it was released in November of 2023. But I think partially just because of the shaping, the all over rib, the commitment that this sweater would be as stunning as it is, maybe a deterrent for other people as well, I'm not sure. But yes, I really want to knit this. I have the yarn for it. I'm hoping that this is one of these patterns, like of the 10 that I'm scared of, this is one that I tackle like right away. This and the Pierre top are probably like top of mind for me. So yeah, that's the Prima Pullover by Star-Crossed Knits. The next one that I have to talk about, I've been talking for a while, so I'm going to try to speed it up just a little, is the Joanna Tank by Emily Y. Chen. This is knit up in a fingering weight at 29 stitches by 40 rows in stockinette on a 3mm needle and a 2.75mm needle. I imagine that's for the finishings. The reason I'm scared of this is the neck. The neckline is why I love this pattern. It's also, again, why I'm terrified of it, because I've never done that style, like that overlap, and that makes me really nervous. It's beautiful, it's timeless, it's elegant, and I think would be a staple piece in my wardrobe. It is a small gauge, which again, a little nerve-wracking, but there's no sleeves, so I could do that. I'm just terrified of the neckline. I'm worried I would butcher it and then ruin the whole piece, have to rip it out like 3 times, and I just feel like I wouldn't get that clean look that makes this piece so classy and timeless. This has 10 sizes, and so pretty good size range. It's in 24, it has 24 projects on Ravelry and 89 cues. It's beautiful. She uses Knit Picks 12 fingering in non-superwash for this. It's very fitted tank, has optional waist shaping, and the armhole and the collar are all knit in double knitting, which, like, it takes some time, but I don't mind it. I feel like I need a little rig right now because of all the double knitting I've done recently, but overall, like, it's a beautiful piece. I'm just scared that I wouldn't be able to do the neckline justice to make this look the way it's supposed to. Oh, I love it though. I'd kind of forgotten about this pattern until I was looking through my Ravelry, looking for patterns that kind of fit the bill of I'm scared of this, but I want to knit it kind of deal. And this was one of them. I'd completely forgotten about it. It is beautiful. Highly recommend if, well, I can't recommend it because I've not knit it, but it's beautiful. So if you like this, maybe this is something for you to cast on. Hopefully you're braver than I. The 9th pattern we're almost to the end here. This is the framed sweater by Andrea Mowry, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I love this quilt motif. Oh, there's just something about her designs, and this is another one that I'm just floored by. Floored. It is incredible. This is knit at a worsted weight gauge. She uses Spin Cycle Dream State and Spinster's Daughter worsted. This is 21 stitches and 24 rows measured over the stitch pattern knit in the round after blocking. It has a size range of 1 through 9, so a really good size range there. And the reason I'm scared of this is that the color work is at points knit flat. I'm just getting comfortable with color work, so flat color work is a totally different beast that I'm not sure I'm ready for. So I do want to do this in a color changing yarn, which means I haven't tackled this yet, partially because I want to shell out for Spin Cycle, and that hasn't been in my budget, but I'm also scared to knit flat for color work. So if you've knit the sweater, I know a lot of people knit this for Rhinebeck, I think last year, maybe the year before, but it has 1,415 projects on Ravelry, and it's in 1,906 queues, so pretty popular. But yeah, if you've knit this sweater, let me know. Maybe it's not as bad as I think it will be. Maybe it is, and I just need the push. But this is stunning. I adore it. I really want this in my wardrobe at some point. It's so unique. It's so like beautiful. I feel like this in jeans, absolutely ideal. I really want this. I want to make this. So one day I will have the courage. Probably not this year though. Definitely not this year. Maybe next year. The last pattern is the Stella quilt blanket. And I actually looked at yarn yesterday for this. I don't normally get yarn from like a big box retailer like Michael's, but they're having a little sale, and I thought if I don't want the yarn for garments, like I sometimes will use their yarn for like accessories, like a hat, you know, things that probably aren't going to be super, you're not really quite so worried about the feel, and you want them to be a little bit more easy care. So like the yarn I bought is like 55% superwash and 45% acrylic, so I know that if I gift that to someone, it's gonna be very easy to care for. But I was looking at yarn for this from Michael's because I thought, well, a blanket, like it's gonna be next to skin, but it might not be quite so necessary to get such a large quantity in like 100% wool. Like that feels like a lot. Like I feel like I need quite a bit to knit something of this size, because if I knit the Stella quilt blanket, I want to knit the largest size. So I'm hesitant to buy either like hand-dyed yarn. I think if I do this, I'm gonna do a mix of the two motifs, but I'm gonna do just 3 colors and kind of alternate, so there's no one color touching the other. I think that'll just work really well for what I can do. And so I was looking at a really beautiful tweed forest green and a rust colored orange, and then I believe it was like a tan, like sand color. And I really loved the color combination. Maybe I'll insert a picture. I took a picture when I was there yesterday. I was just unsure if it'd be soft enough, if it'd be comfortable enough. Would it, like, sometimes I feel like acrylic causes things like people to sweat. Would that be an issue with this? And I'm hesitant to buy enough yarn to knit up a whole blanket and have it feel like really cheap. So I'm really not sure. So yeah, the size of this blanket and the combination of how much yarn I need to purchase and how much do I really want to spend on this is what scares me the most. Like, if I commit to this, how much of my financial resources and my time am I committing to this? It's a very big project. So it's really just the size of this is what scares me. It's knit with a fingering weight held double for a DK weight gauge, or you could just use a DK weight yarn at 21 stitches and 42 rows in garter stitch. And you can do a baby blanket, a lap blanket, or a throw blanket, and I'd want to knit a throw blanket. And yeah, it's just little squares of quilt. It's little quilt squares that you, I think, knit like a triangle and then another triangle attached somehow, and then you mattress stitch your, I want to say you mattress stitch, I just guessed, but you then knit your squares together and eventually you make a blanket. It'd be a great like project to have going over a couple of months so that you could just like pick it up here and there and work on it slowly. But yeah, this is another pattern that scares me. So if you have any thoughts on, I think the yarn I was looking at was the Luxe Merino by Loops and Threads. If you've worked with that yarn a lot, I would really appreciate like any knowledge you have on how that feels, and if I'm on the right track or if I should really pivot and just invest in some really high quality yarn for this. Let me know. So yeah, that's all 10 patterns. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being a part of this video. Thank you for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, I really appreciate you being here. I've only been doing this for a short while, and every comment and subscriber and like is so encouraging. So if you want to do any of those 3 things, I'm greatly appreciating it. If there's a pattern that you're scared of, or if you have any comments on any of the ones I've mentioned, please leave them in the comments below. I love interacting with people on here. It's absolutely so much fun. But yeah, otherwise, thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you in my next video, which I'm hoping will be a podcast. I have my current work in progress right next to me. I've been knitting on it rather monogamously, but maybe we'll see some different things that I work on throughout the next couple of days leading up to when I film that podcast. But yeah, thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day.